So usually when they talk about spring is coming, how do you know if spring is coming? There's like this groundhog that pokes its head up, and if spring is here, it'll go out and do its thing, and if spring is not here, then it'll kind of go back and burrow into the ground. I don't much know about all of that. However, I do look to the skies and I do look at birds that are flying back from their summer destinations. Given that I live in Toronto, Canada, we do see birds in flying V's kind of migrating out of the country when it gets cold and migrating back in when it's starting to warm up. So as of late, I have seen quite a few of those flying V's migrating back to my area. So to me, I feel like spring is coming. So what I got for you is I got 10 fragrances that we're going to talk about that I will be rocking the hell out of in spring. So very, very excited to share this list with you because there will be a lot of unique fragrances that you don't know about and maybe some familiar faces. So let's play the music. When I get back, we'll talk about 10 fragrances in no particular order that I'll be crushing this spring. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So, spring fragrances, it's really that transitional period from the cooler weather into the not so cool weather into warmer weather, which is my favorite. I love summer. But I can always appreciate spring because you get a different touch in the seasonality. You get moisture in the air, you get humidity, you get rain, you get sun, you get a tiny bit of coolness, especially in the evening. It's pretty versatile. It's a very nice season. So the 10 fragrances that I'm choosing here, you'll get a little bit of uniqueness and a little bit of versatility, but you'll also get something that'll help you transition into summer a lot more efficiently, a little bit better. So I'm really hoping that you're gonna like these 10 fragrances. And what I'm planning on doing is reviewing the 10 fragrances during the season, just so you have a better idea of what these 10 fragrances are like in detail. So with that being said, if you like this video, please hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn that notification bell on. Stay in tune with my channel. I am on Instagram. You can find me at Food and Fragrances. Please make sure you like, share, comment, and again, subscribe to the channel because it goes a long way. So thank you so much for all the support as always. And let me know in the comments below, what are maybe 3 fragrances that you are looking forward to wearing in spring? Without further ado, let's jump into the first selection out of the 10 that I want to show you. Now, if you are coming from my Boudicca or Boudicca series, you'll know that this fragrance was on the list and I ranked it quite high. Very, very excited to rock this fragrance. It's one of my favorites. This is Glorious. What Glorious is a beautiful, fruity, woody, aromatic composition, leaning a little bit more on the fruitier side, and not in the sense that you're gonna get a dense, syrupy fruitiness. You're gonna get a very nice, clean, not tart, but still sweet fruitiness mixed in with a wonderful dry cedarwood, allowing this fragrance to really, really capitalize on the aromatic features, which would be perfect, perfect, perfect for the warmer type of days in spring. I think this fragrance symbolizes that beautiful blossoming nature of a fragrance coming off of your skin, developing, giving you more so of that positivity, that happiness that, you know, kind of assimilates itself with spring because you got the blossoms, you know, you got flowers beautifully blossoming, you got grass coming in, trees kind of, you know, retaking its form. I think Glorious really embodies that beauty and the transitional side of spring. So if you do get your hands on a bottle, definitely look to wear this more so on a warmer day. I think it'll be something that you'll enjoy. The woodiness is very, very nice. It's a beautiful canvas to allow those fruity notes to really do its thing, such as pineapple in here with raspberry. Just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful concoction. Really enjoy this. And in my opinion, if you're looking at a demographic, very, very unisex, both genders can pull this off. This will be more so, I'd say, I give it 22-year-olds and higher can pull this fragrance off. It's very fun. It's very easy to wear. I'd like to say mass appealing, but in a very respectful way. Not designer whatsoever, but very mass appealing and very compliment friendly. So 22 above, I definitely think there's a little bit of youthfulness with this. And even if you're mature, you can definitely pull this off. So this is Glorious from Boadicea. Hopefully now I'm saying it right. Hit me in the comments. So the next fragrance I'd like to bring forth is from a house that unfortunately discontinues quite a few of their fragrances. I don't know what the change has been as of late, and I do apologize. This is a discontinued fragrance, but I do think if you find somebody selling this, you could still get it for a good price because I think it's a very undervalued house. This is from the house of Sense of Wood. And this fragrance is called Santal Umeshu. Umeshu is a plum liqueur. Okay. Now, with the plum liqueur, you're getting more so of a lighter side, and a lot of plum fragrances will lean more so on a heavier, on a denser, on a darker side. This is not the case. The sandalwood in here is beautiful, beautiful, very clean, but very smooth. It's, I don't want to say lactonic, but given the sharpness of the umeshu, the liqueur side of the umeshu with that plum note that feels more so of a lighter, more juicier plum, the combination works absolute wonders. And I think each of the notes play superbly well with each other. It's a very beautiful cocktail feeling like fragrance, included with a beautiful smoothness, almost a richness with the sandalwood. Absolutely divine. This is a favorite. I do use this a little bit sparingly because given that it's discontinued, it does break my heart. But I do believe that these are refillable. I just don't know how to get them refilled because Sense of Wood is located in USA and I'm not. So truly, truly love this. This is something that's fun. It kind of resembles and kind of gives me an idea of it being on the same realm of like a crab apple blossom from Clive Christian. It has that playfulness. It has that absolute fun cocktail type of feeling to it. Beautiful for brunch, beautiful for patio. And again, if we're talking about demographics, super, super, super unisex. Maybe the argument could be like it's 55% feminine leaning, 45% masculine. At that point, it's unisex. Just shut up. But I think this is a very fun fragrance. And again, you're talking about youthful. I think 22 and up, 22 plus can enjoy this respectfully, lovingly. I think it's a very, very awesome fragrance. And I don't think there's necessarily an age limit to this. I think this can spark any type of joy, any type of emotion of positivity amongst the spring season. So if you have an opportunity, if you do see the bottle floating around, I'm not one to say blind buy. If decants come up or like samples come up, definitely get your nose on it and make the judgment yourself. But I truly love this fragrance a lot, a lot. So that is Sense of Wood, Santal Umeshu. Now, the third fragrance that I'd like to show you is a new release, and this is from the house of Argos. I like this. This is a very nice release, very fun, very easy, very designer-esque type of feeling. And if you haven't guessed by now, it is Neptune's Trident. New release. In my honest opinion, if you have imagination, it's very, very similar to imagination. You get that tea note in here. You get that beautiful freshness in here. It's very easy to wear, very, very not unique in a sense, but the thing that I like and that differentiates this from me, from Imagination, from LV, Louis Vuitton, is it feels a little bit green in here. There's almost like it's a mixture of like cactus green with Imagination. Really, really fun. I'd say almost aquatic like feel. There's a bit of saltiness in here, but still very, very nice, very pleasant. I think this is an all dayer, meaning that you can wear this evening, you can wear this daytime, you can wear this as a signature, just something that I think you could crush. But if you have familiarity with Imagination from Louis Vuitton, you'll know exactly kind of why this resembles that type of feeling, but it still adds a little bit of a touch to make it a little bit different. If it's that much different for you to splurge on it, that'll be up to you to decide. So definitely recommend getting your nose on a sample. But anybody that's I've come across that have talked about this fragrance personally, they've enjoyed it. They think it's awesome. And to me, this is going to be a very easy reach for spring banger. So definitely check it out. I think it's definitely signature scent worthy, and it's a really fun release from Argos. I do think this one will be a little bit more on the demographic side, more for teenagers and up. It's again very fun, very youthful, very bright, very easy to wear, safe designer wise, and easy to get compliments on. This is something you'd wear if you're somebody who likes to seek compliments. This is something you'd wear and you'd probably get it, right? It's that easy. So in my opinion, teenagers up, unisex as well. You can wear this. It's very clean and the T note is fantastic. So that is Neptune's Trident from the House of Argos. Now, keeping it fun, keeping it light, keeping it maybe to something that you do know, this fragrance is from the House of Le Labo. I am very much fond of this house because I like the way the fragrances wear. Now, this is the Noir 29. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. It's a beautiful, light-wearing fragrance. I think it's very elegant. It's very, very nice. Beautifully safe, I think, for office wear, especially if you don't overspray. I love it. You get this beautiful fig note. Oh, to die for. To die for. For me, fig is like one of my favorite notes and fragrances, so it does do some reactionary things, as you can tell. That was as genuine as it came, Jesus. I like this. I like this. I like Noir 29 quite a bit. Um, if you know what it smells like, it's very, very easy to kind of get your nose on it. If you go to Holtz Renfrew, I believe they have their own, individual boutiques. Um, you can definitely smell it. Saks, Fifth Avenue, they'll have it. But I really love the aromatic fig in here. It's so easy to wear. It's just almost second nature. You wear it, you put it on. Sometimes the scent won't be there, or won't feel like it's there, but then as you're going about your day, the scent will kind of bloom off of your skin. For me personally, if I was to demographics this, um, I do think, again, unisex, no issues there. I do think this would be a little bit more of an older scent, 27 and above, 26 and above. I'm not saying that, oh, if you're 25 years old and younger, you can't wear this scent. No, but I think ideally 26 and above, you'll have a better appreciation for this scent. For me personally, when I first entered the game, I didn't really have too much of an appreciation for Le Labo because I was expecting loudness. I was expecting, something to be vibrant and to really kind of speak loudly and last a long time. I think now, as I've transitioned and progressed in my scent journey, I appreciate the hell out of scents like this. I just love that intimacy. I love that closeness. Yeah. And Noir 29 delivers on that tenfold. This is a scent that I'll definitely be wearing, and unfortunately, I'll probably have to get a refill by the season end. But really, really, really love this scent. So if you haven't smelt it, please make sure that you get your nose on this. I think it's definitely worth checking out. Yeah, yes, we shall. We got a couple of scents here that'll ramp up on difficulty here and get actually now a little bit more unique. Now, a more recent love for me, and I don't know if you can see the cap, but more recent love for me has been this fragrance from the house of Creed. Yes, I know, Creed. But it's not what you think it is. It's Bois de Portugal. My goodness, do I love this fragrance. One of my friends, Noah, I apologize. I did snag this before you could get your hands on this, and you're not getting it, but I love this fragrance so much, and I didn't think I was going to. It's so friggin' good. Classy, elegant, mature, aromatic, woody. That bergamot is so high quality. That citrus element to it, that's kind of like realistically bitter mixed in with that lavender that gives it that floral component. My God, is this fragrance good or what? I like it. This is what I envision Creed to be like, to make Water Portugal. Now, we're going to demographic this. Masculine. Okay? I hate to do that, but it is. It is truly a masculine scent. In my honest opinion, I think if I was to make this age appropriate, I think you got to be 30 plus, realistically, to really appreciate the scent. To really, really appreciate the scent. I think in a fougere category, fougere meaning barbershop, clean type of category, this is as near as perfection as you can get in terms of the scent profile. Love it. And I don't know if I snagged like a older batch or bottle or whatnot, the 75 ml. But this lasts. This lasts beyond belief. Like I didn't think this would hit as much as it did, but beautifully aromatic, beautifully woody. The citrus elements are fantastic. I love the elegance of this fragrance. It's just so well put together. You want to make a statement in spring, this is the fragrance, in my honest opinion, that I'd recommend. Now, keeping up with the difficulty, I do think this is a little bit more ramped down and kind of makes sense because given the house that it's coming from, it is a little bit more easier to wear. But in terms of likability, that's where the challenge comes in. This is Joe Malone's Cypress and Grapevine. I don't know if you guys have heard about this fragrance, and if you haven't, then hey, I'm putting you on something. This is Cologne Intense, but it really does sit really nicely on skin and on clothes. My wife has complimented me like crazy when I've worn this fragrance. Beautifully green, a little bit spicy. You got some cypress in there, you got some vine in here, and you got some woody nuances in here. Simplistic. It really is a simplistic composition, just as just right off of the cap, just as Joe Malone is kind of known for. But this is such a beautiful fragrance, in my honest opinion. It feels very foresty. It feels very. I'm on a hike and I'm in a very beautiful forestry type of place that I'm going on a hike, and it just feels majestic. That's kind of what this fragrance feels like. Really like it. It's beautifully elegant. I think if we're talking about the previous fragrance, which is Creed Bois de Portugal, Joe Malone Cypress and Grapevine is right behind it. I know a lot of people have their reservations when it comes to Joe Malone because of the longevity. I don't mind it. You know, it allows me to kind of utilize this during the daytime, and then if I want to switch it up, I have the ability to switch it up later in the day or vice versa. You can definitely pull this off in the evening as well. Some coolness kind of cutting through would be phenomenal with this fragrance. Really, really like it. Demographics, we're going to talk masculine, in my honest opinion. Yeah, for sure. For sure. There's a little bit of a dryness to it. So that dryness is going to contribute to the same type of demographic feeling, just as Bois de Portugal has. And I'm thinking 30 plus. You could probably bring it down slightly less. But yeah, this is a very mature fragrance. I just love it. I love smelling this. I love smelling this. And yeah, this is something I'd kind of dress up. If you're dressing it up, you're going out, maybe you're wearing a crisp, shirt, whatever the case may be, something a little bit more like semi-casual to formal. this would be a statement fragrance. I think it's just done elegantly, superbly. Another one that I'm very, very happy to have in my collection, and Cypress and Grapevine Cologne Intense. All right, so we've gone through quite a few fragrances here. Now, let's maybe bring it back. We're gonna bring it back to something that's a little bit more easier to wear, but still, um, you know, a lot of people have their reservations when it comes to rose and scents, but this house does it so well, so well. And this is from the house of Ormond Jane. This is Nawab of Oud. This is just a regular Nawab of Oud. Beautiful scent. This is a scent that you need to wear. I think it's very, very beautiful. I know that means nothing. You get this stunning rose, this crisp, clean type of feel with an Ormond Jane fragrance. I feel like Ormond Jane has a DNA, and their DNA is nice. It's very light. It's very clean. Almost to the sense, it almost feels like a juniper-esque type of fragrance, but there's hints of tobacco in here. There's hints of rose in here. The rose really, really blossoms beautifully and elegantly. It sits. There's so many facets to this fragrance that it's a absolute pleasure to wear. And given that it's spring, you got florals coming in, flowers coming in. This is such a beautiful ode to the growth, to the reemergence of the fauna around you. I think it's just such a pleasure to wear. Again, very compliment friendly. In my honest opinion, I think very unisex. Yeah, very unisex, given the fact that Ormond Jane has that type of DNA that may lean slightly a little bit more masculine, in my honest opinion. But I think Nawab of Oud is beautiful personified. I think if you look up the word beautiful, there should be a bottle of Nawab of Oud. It feels very royal, right? It feels very, very classy. And it may be a fragrance that I could downgrade a tiny bit in terms of like the age wearability. I think, you know, 26, 25 and up, you'd be super satisfied with this. This to me, I think could be a signature scent. Very, very enjoyable. Beautiful woodiness. Again, very aromatic. Nice spiciness to it. Not a warmth, but just fresh spiciness to it. Beautiful, beautiful scent. And I hate using that same adjective, but it literally is what it is. Get your nose on this. If there's, no, there's still more. But get your nose on this. Definitely think it's worth sampling this and then making your own decision. And even a close runner-up would be Montabaco Intensivo. Very, very close runner-up. But I do like the special feeling of Nawab of Oud. And I do feel like if you want something that is nice, light, and perfect for spring, but also as a date night fragrance, this one is a great choice. Nawab of Oud would be what I'd probably roll with on this list. Yeah. So the eighth fragrance that I'm putting on this list, this is actually from my favorite house currently. I don't think there will be too much that can trump it. So I want to gatekeep this one. I really do want to gatekeep this one, but I like you guys, so. Jinko Store. Patchouli Noir. And this is from their niche collection. Super new fragrance, obviously, based off of the note of patchouli. Beautiful. Now, if you have other bottles from the niche collection of Jinko Store, you know that there's a density to the fragrance. Now, even though this fragrance would be, in my honest opinion, perfect for the transition to spring into summer, you still want a little bit of coolness in the air when you're wearing this fragrance, because with Jinko, there is a level of density to expect when you're wearing their fragrance, and as much so when you're using natural type of ingredients. Patchouli Noir is so beautiful, and to me, I find it to be very pleasantly not dense, if I could say so. You still need a little bit of coolness, but it's not a dense fragrance. It feels very clean. There's that sweetness, that earthiness from the patchouli, that greenness from the patchouli. My goodness, it's such a wonderful scent. This to me, if you're wearing a fragrance like this, not only will nobody smell like you, you'll command the room because it's a power play. And on top of that, you'll probably be the best smelling person in the room, hands down. I think Patchouli Noir is a top tier fragrance. This could, in anybody's vast collection, this could be top five, hands down, hands down. Beautiful fragrance, dominant on the patchouli note, but other naturals are in here. And again, you don't need much. 50 ml bottle, this is. You only need 2 sprays, maybe 3 sprays for a wearing. I just think it's absolutely masterful. And you want that touch of elegance, that touch of class. This would be the perfect fragrance to bring in spring, and really celebrate well. So Jinko Store Patchouli Noir, hands down, easily one of my favorite scents. I think it's just absolutely magnificent. And if I was to put this on a demographic, uh, it's gonna be tough. I think that this one would be 70% masculine, 30% feminine, so more masculine dominant. And in my honest opinion, I think you need a little bit more, like you need to be a little bit more in a mature setting to pull this one off. I don't necessarily think it's a fun fragrance. It's not something that's going to be happy-go-lucky, yada yada yada. There's intention behind wearing this, and in my opinion, rightfully so. You know, you want to touch it up, you want to dress it up. This is the perfect fragrance to kind of have in the collection. You want that statement piece, you want to command a room. This is the perfect fragrance to have in the collection. Their niche collection, in my opinion, should be the benchmark and standard of what all these other niche companies should be looking to achieve. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it because, yeah, this is crazy. So check it out. If you ever get a chance to sample this, definitely, definitely check it out. Now, I do want to preface these last two by saying that this list is in no particular order. Okay? I love each and every one of these fragrances as much as any other. So I do want to bring forth a beautiful fragrance that I really do love. And the reason why I love it is I love the note of cannabis. And then somebody's going to meme that and be like, I love cannabis, and just cut things out. But no, I love the note of cannabis. I love the way it's done in perfumery, because a lot of people will say, oh no, you're putting cannabis in a fragrance, and I automatically assume that I'm going to smell like a pothead. It's not the case. It's a very green, luscious, aromatic note with a little bit of dirtiness to it. And that's awesome when you're talking about being a fan of green fragrances like myself. I love green fragrances. So the one that I like to showcase is Zoologist's King Cobra. Really love this fragrance. Really, really do. It's so nice. It's so different. It's so unique. That cannabis note is fantastic. Fantastic. Mixed in with some soil to kind of accentuate that dirtiness. But I think the representation of the King Cobra in this fragrance is done wonderfully. Vetiver in here, beautiful green nuances, aromatic, perfect in my honest opinion for spring, even for summer. In my opinion, I'm gonna kind of say it's not a hard wear. Like other zoologists, I do find that there's some difficulty in wearing their fragrances. In King Cobra, it just feels like a green fragrance, but done with a little bit more stylization. Great representation, in my honest opinion. There is a bit of dryness in this fragrance. It's so good. It's so good. There's a bit of dryness with the vetiver, but there's a little bit of dampness because you got some of the earthiness for soil. You got, some other nuances like cannabis in here, obviously. And I do believe that there are some florals. So what I noticed with this fragrance is, even though it kind of utilizes the cannabis note, you'll get a slight soft smokiness, the incense. In here, you'll get a nice tea-like note to kind of bring everything together, and you'll get the petitgrain, you'll get some of those greener nuances, such as the fig leaf, not the fig fruitiness, to kind of bring everything together. In my honest opinion, I do like this composition quite a bit. I think the perfumer, Prin, did an excellent job. And I would like to say, out of the entire line, this could be top three for me for zoologists. So or zoologist. So if you're a fan of the brand, definitely give this a try. Don't be afraid of it. And let me know what you think because I do really like this and I think highly of it. So yeah, it'd be great to know what your thoughts are. So that is King Cobra from Zoologist. And I do have a gripe with it. When it comes to speaking about that brand, Zoologist, I do notice that quite a few content creators kind of go out their way to kind of muck around with it, right? They'll get some of the catalogs, the samples, go through the whole samples in one video and be like, oh, I don't like this. Oh, this is unbearable, blah, blah, blah. Listen, the person running the brand is literally a one-man show. These fragrances are not meant to be explored like that. You got to spend and take your time with them and understand what it's trying to accomplish. It really kind of bases a fragrance off of the habitat. So I understand that there's a lot of negative connotation when it comes to the brand. But realistically, like if you are looking for something that has a very, very awesome spark of creativity, that kind of captures the soul and nuances of some of the animals that are on the box, it's a awesome way to kind of explore and deepen your horizons when it comes to some of the ways that the notes play with each other. So, I just kind of wanted to go out there and say that because I have watched quite a few and from bigger YouTubers that have kind of made a mockery of it. And, realistically, when you have the nose of, again, a 12-year-old who sits at home and probably thinks Little Caesar is probably the best pizza that they've ever had, I don't necessarily trust your opinion, and it's just that. So realistically, that's my thought on zoologists or zoologists. Give it a shot. Try, conjure up your own thoughts. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Absolutely, I can understand that. But if it does kind of spark a little bit of curiosity, I do think that there's some fragrances in their line that are absolutely phenomenal. And King Cobra might not be, something that you gravitate to, definitely check out Civet. I think Civet is marvelous. And I love Bee. I love Cockatiel. Cow, I think, is fantastic. Dodo Jackfruit, I think, is fantastic. Tiger, I think, is really nice. Just to name a few. Just to name a few. So, that's just my thoughts on that because I do know a lot of people kind of go from here and kind of do their own research. It's just, be aware of the thought process and the maturity of some of the reviewers that kind of, don't give it an honest chance. Anyways, last but not least, let's talk about the last fragrance on the list. Let's make sure it's the last. Yeah, it is. This is from Frederick Mall, one of my favorite houses. This is Rose and Queer. Rose and leather, basically. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if this is my favorite Frederick Mall. This might be close. This might be close. Because every time I smell this fragrance, it just brings a smile to my face. And I'm going to be one of those people, and I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this. I don't care for the Desert series when it comes to Frederick Mall. I just think, given that I've explored some of the houses that I've explored, Jinx, Jinko, Ensar, and even Memoirs of a Perfume Collector, I just think if I want something a little bit more dense, a little bit more character, maybe some more oud, I'm going to go over there as opposed to the Desert collection. But in my honest opinion, I love Rose and Cure, I think, or Queer. I do think it's one of my top threes in the house. It's just wonderfully beautiful. Rose is the center stage of this fragrance. And it's rose in a multitude of ways. You get that geranium, that greenness of it. You get the rose stem. You get that delicate greenness of a rose without the stem. I don't want to say that delicateness, that floralness, but it's more so the greener aspect, the woodier aspect of rose, mixed in with leather. It's not a leather dominant fragrance. It's very airy, it's very clean, it's very aromatic. I think this fragrance is perfection for spring. Love it. I'm definitely going to give this a wear. This to me is also something that could be a signature scent. I don't know how it would feel on a female actually. I would like to say that this might be 65% or 65 swaying towards masculine, but absolute banger of a fragrance. If I were to give it an age, I think the age of this fragrance, you could definitely pull it off 20, 26 and above. Beautifully classy, beautifully fun, beautifully elegant. And it's just something that I think will spark your curiosity and spark your imagination as you give it a wear. It's just something that you kind of might keep coming back to and smelling. Very clean, very, very nice, very airy, very ozonic in a sense, but really, really, really love this fragrance. And the leather is nowhere challenging whatsoever. It's something that I think is just composed extremely well. So that will round out the list. Rose and Queer from Frederick Mall. What do you guys think about this spring list? I know it's a little bit different and a little bit more unique than what's out there, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I thank you guys for joining me. We'll go through in detail each of these fragrances, and I look forward to catching you there. So have a great one. Enjoy the transitional period into spring, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Much love. Peace out.